Do 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 do. Let's talk. Hi, Radioheads. You know this is L Man, and I'm with Scott Christian Sava, writer, producer, and animator. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
So, first question. He's an artist. He just made a film. We'll talk about that in a second. Animal Crackers on Netflix. What are the benefits that doing art gives you?
I had an epiphany last summer because making movies is really hard.
Yeah.
The making of the movie isn't hard, it's getting the funding and the distribution of the movie. And so you spend a lot of time just waiting for a studio to give you the green light or an investor to give you the investment. You spend a lot of time waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought about it. I was like, what can I do where I don't need people, I'm not waiting for somebody else to do something for me. And
Mm-hmm.
it was, I can make art. And in making art, I can make people happy. I can give away art. Um, I could teach about art. I can get other people to make art. And so for me, at least this last year has been all about just using art to hopefully make the world a better place by just encouraging people because the world could use more artists. The world could use more art. And so that's kind of where I'm going with it.
I see you give away art. What type of art would you like to receive?
I have a lot of people sending me portraits of me, which is really cute.
Oh, cool.
It's really, I have these, some like really wonderful oil paints, and then just stuff that 4 or 5 year olds make, and it just makes you feel so good. So I've got a whole drawer full of them, which is really wonderful.
And for if you're listening on the radio, he has facial hair. And I saw a video of you teaching how to draw hair, which is really difficult. I got stuck on eyelashes when in on a painting in high school. I don't even know if I ever finished it. But yeah, so if you're listening and you want to learn how to draw hair, he has lots of how-to videos on his YouTube. Very helpful. And I guess
Thanks.
I'm gonna skip
I love
around.
hair.
Hair
Yeah.
is a tough thing to draw. So skipping around, graphic art, computerized art is taken over. One of the last artists I interviewed, she really does a lot more graphic art now, and she makes a lot of money because it's faster. And she didn't want to do it at
Yeah.
first, but she fell into it. And how do you feel about graphic art? And do you think that painting and drawing will eventually become extinct?
Well, no, I mean, digital art,
Right, digital.
people are painting and drawing digitally. They have a pen, they're doing it. I think it's just another tool, and
Hmm.
and I think it's wonderful. Uh, I think there's too many um, police. There's too many art police. There's too many people saying this is art, this isn't
Yeah,
art, this is it's art. If you want to take a banana and tape it to a wall and call it art, God
right.
bless you. That's art. It's okay. So I think um, digital, traditional, sculpture, banana. It's all
Hmm.
art.
Hmm.
I think it's wonderful. I'm envious of artists who can do that. I I did digital for a little bit. I just miss the tactile feel. I miss having paint on my hands, I miss
Hmm.
having an original painting. And there's no undo button. So everything is you're kind of just winging it. You're flying at the seat of your pants when you're
Right.
doing it. And so I think there's something wonderful about that. And I love traditional.
Yeah, the undo button with painting. Drawing, I like that you can erase it. And speaking of police, there's a lot
Yeah.
of police in the stand-up comedy department.
Oh
I
gosh.
like to do voices. I like to sing and dance. And I guess I'd even call myself a showgirl more than a stand-up because I don't really care about standing there. So a lot of people have tried to correct me and say that, not to do voices and not to sing or dance, but I think you should just give people a show. So in every community, there's
Yeah.
police of what to do and what not to do. So we're gonna talk about
Yeah.
well,
I mean, the
you're
thing that Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The thing is that there's no rules. Like, is there a set list of rules for stand-up comedy? Is there a set list of rules like do's and don'ts? No, there's not.
according to some there are.
You're giving me.
According to some
Yeah,
there
but
are.
there
Yeah,
aren't established rules.
right.
But those are ones that people come up with and they follow those rules. But they're not. It's not like we're playing hockey and there's official. Like we all agree
Yeah.
to the rules at the beginning. This is all art. It's all art, whether it's acting or music or stand up or art. It's just all art, and there are no rules in art.
I like that. I adhere to that. So you made a feature film called Animal Crackers, now on Netflix, the summer of 2021's number one animated movie in the world, featuring Danny DeVito, Emily Blunt, Sylvester Stallone, Gilbert Gottfried. So in honor of Gilbert Gottfried, I was just curious if you had any highlights of working with the guy
Yeah,
and
he
directing
was
him.
very, yeah, he was very quiet. I was
Hmm.
very surprised. So, like Harvey Firestein is just like you would expect Harvey Firestein to be. He's loud, he's funny, Danny DeVito was pretty much spot on. John and Emily, Ian McKellen, Sylvester Stallone. Gilbert was just very quiet. He was very
Hmm.
soft spoken. He was just, and so that really threw me back because he just wasn't in character until he got into the booth, and then he does his voice and he does that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that was really really interesting. He was a old movie monster buff, and he was an art buff. So I actually did a couple paintings for him. The Frankenstein's monster and the Bride of Frankenstein. I gave it to him, and he was a family. He loved his wife and kids, and he it was just very not what I expected, and I liked
Hmm.
that about him. It was because he in person felt more like how I feel. I'm a
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
introverted, very quiet person, and so I just felt a little bit more uh, closer to him because of that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, to me, that's what I'd expect because the more performing I do, the more singing, the more when I'm by myself, I don't even want to talk. I want to rest my vocal cords at all.
Yeah.
You can't even get me on the phone. So, speaking of wives, you produce with your wife. I record a comedy podcast with my boyfriend. What are the pros and cons, as honestly as you can, without upsetting anyone, of working with your wife? Pros and
We've
cons.
been we've been married for 29 years. So I don't think there's anything I could do to make her get rid of me at this point.
Hmm.
But um, she's believed in me because I'm the crazy. I want to do this now, and I want to do this now. Like I did video games for a while, and I did comic books, and I've
Hmm.
written books, and I've done art, and I've now I'm going to make a movie, and she's the one who believes in me, and so she went when we were on food stamps,
Oh,
and
wow.
we were really, and we had an offer from Harvey Weinstein to take the movie, and it was a really bad offer. And she's like, "Don't do it. He's gonna take everything. We get nothing. Why are we
Mm,
doing it?" And then
right.
so it was like, well, then the only other option is to go and try to make the movie ourselves. And so she's like, okay. And the kids were maybe 7 or 8. We have twins, and she says, I'll go back to work. And so she went. She worked on the dock at Target at 5 in the morning.
Wow.
She did odd jobs. She took a temp job. She was a secretary. She did whatever she needed to do to keep us going for 3 years, while I took care of the kids. I took them to school, and I found a way to raise the money to make the movie.
Wow.
So when we finally got the money to make the movie, she quit, and she ran the entire thing. She balanced the budget. She booked all the contracts with all of the actors. She did it. We'd never done any of it before,
Hmm.
but it was just like it's just the two of us, and that's how we like it. We like it, just the two of us. I trust her. She trusts me, um, and we just. She's more of a nickels and dimes, accounting, that kind of person. She's very practical, and I'm out there, I'm
Right.
just out there saying, we can do this, we can do that, we can do, and so we balance each other out, which
And
is
it might
wonderful.
not work if you were the same. I mean, two if
Yeah,
you brought the same thing on the team might be incomplete. So it's probably a great thing
yeah,
that you guys are
exactly.
so different. Same, yeah, same
Yeah.
here. Very, very, yeah. I'm a risk assessment analysis. I'm looking at everything that could go wrong. And then my boyfriend, he's like, let's do this, let's do that. Let's jump off a cliff. It's like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. So back
I
to
want to look over
animal.
there first. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm afraid of everything. Yeah, Yeah, so I need someone to push me. So it's a daunting task to get a film on Netflix, at least for me, but everything's daunting to me. you know, how's the process? What are some things that you learned about just while getting your film on Netflix? Animal crackers, by the way.
Well, thanks. Making the movie was everything I had hoped it would be. From getting to meet the cast, like every all of the actors were wonderful. The musicians were great. You know, I got to meet Huey Lewis and Michael Bublé and Howard Jones and Toto and Sprocket, and
Hmm.
um, everything was cool. I got to travel to London and Spain and New York and Los Angeles, and it was the Hollywood part of it that was the worst part of it. It was
Mm.
um, just dealing with that, and the way I like in Hollywood studios and producers and agents are they're they're the gatekeepers of for all of us talent,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know anything. They have no talent, they have no taste for talent, they don't know anything, but they're the gatekeepers. And I
Right.
liken them to a rich person at an art gallery, and they're like, I don't know what good art is, but everybody's buying this art, so I'm
Right.
going to buy that art. And that's how Hollywood is. They never want to be the first, they always want to be second. And
Oh.
so they just go, hey, everybody's buying tornado movies. Okay, let's make a tornado movie. Hey, everybody's hiring this actor. Okay, let's hire this actor. Hey,
Huh.
and that's what they do.
Mm.
They follow trends. They don't create trends. And so
Hmm.
as creators, as artists, we don't want to follow trends. We're always saying, okay, everybody's doing this. I'm going to try this.
Mm-hmm.
They hate that. And so there's just
Hmm.
this, and that's why we had to make the movie ourselves, is because Hollywood would have never made a movie about animal crackers
Hmm.
unless, someone else had already done a movie about Oreo cookies or something like that. It's like, oh, hey, we're doing this now. And then they would go and do that. And who wants to do that? Who wants to be second? I don't.
Interesting. So maybe we'll see some movies coming out about Nilla wafers coming up,
Yeah.
copying you. Maybe you've
Yeah,
opened the
exactly.
door for other people who want to make cookie and cracker movies. um,
Exactly.
I guess this will be my last one. We're running out of time. So focus and productivity tips, any activities that you've eliminated from your weekly or monthly calendar to prioritize your art as a creator. You really can't do everything. There's 24 hours in a day, so there's some things you have to neglect.
Yeah.
So what are the
Yeah,
things you had to neglect?
well, I don't go out much, but that's just mostly just my personal thing. I'm just not a go out and go to dinner, go to lunch. And the pandemic definitely
Hmm.
helped. I think I've done probably 1,500 paintings in the last 2 years because I was
Wow.
had no obligations to go spend time with people. But I know that's not everybody. But the one thing else that I did was I learned to speed up my art. I gave myself a time limit. I gave
Mm.
myself an hour to do a painting, and obviously the first 100 weren't that great, but then I started to create shortcuts so that way I could kind of cut out the trim the fat, and I can create a work of art live with 10,000 people watching me in an hour,
Hmm.
hour and a half, and I'm happy with it now. And so now I'm producing more art and it's only impacting me by an hour, hour and a half a day. And so I think
All
that
right.
was it for me was to just give myself a time limit and keep working on that time limit till I find what are the things I don't need and just kind of cut those things out. And that's
Right.
really helped me with my art.
Yeah, I can relate. So if you want to make a movie with Sylvester Stallone and Danny DeVito, maybe you should stop going to dinner like I did. I don't go to breakfast, dinner, lunch, coffee, tea, go out for drinks, go out for drinks, hang out. What is hanging out? What? So on that note,
Yeah.
he does draw live. I think it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So can you tell our audience where to see you
Yeah.
drawing live and where to find you?
Thanks. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Just look up Scott Christian Sava and you'll find me. And yeah, I go live Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 9 a.m. Central Time, me and my wife. And I I'm posting at least 2 times a day, 1 or 2 times a day, new art tips and whatever makes me happy. I think that's what I like about having your own channel is I feel like drawing Stranger Things today, or I
Hmm.
feel like
Hmm.
painting David Bowie or whatever. I get to control the channel, and I love that. So for the most part, it's art tips, but sometimes it's just wacky stuff. I'll paint space balls or something.
And a final thought, anything you'd like the world to know, anything that's on your mind, any message you'd like to share as a final thought?
Final thought is you can't control everything, which I learned. You can't control
Ugh,
everything. You can't control that. But what you can control is you can be kind to people. And that's something that you can control. You don't need people to give you money for you. You don't need a job for that. You can always be kind to people. So try to do that.
yeah, yeah, that's true. And it pays back, and you sleep a lot better knowing that you've made someone's life a lot better or done nothing bad to someone. You sleep a
Yeah,
lot better. Sleep's important.
exactly.
Sleep is the
Exactly.
foundation of health. Thank you for listening. And yeah, signing off. This has been El Man. And now back to more. It came from the radio.